Most scientific papers are prepared according to a format called IMRAD. The term represents the first letters of the words introduction, materials and methods, results, and discussion. It indicates a pattern or format rather than a complete list of headings or components of research papers. The missing parts of a paper are title, authors, keywords, abstract, conclusions, and references. Additionally, some papers include acknowledgements and appendices. Each journal has unique style requirements. Always consult the journal's instructions to authors before submission. The title of the paper will be read more than any other part. The way in which a paper is browsed by readers is in the order title, abstract, results, and full paper. Titles are read both by scientists scanning the contents of a journal and by those depending on searches through secondary sources, which always carry the title and author but may or may not carry abstracts. The title is an extremely important component of the paper. A good title will attract readers who might not otherwise read the paper and may help future researchers find important information. A good title of a research paper should contain as few words as possible. Many journals limit titles to 12 words. Be easy to understand. Describe the contents of the paper accurately and specifically. Avoid abbreviations, formulas, and jargon. Not include any verb, not contain low-impact words such as some notes on, observations on, investigations on, etc. Not be flashy as in newspapers. Report the subject of the research rather than results. Follow the style preference of the target journal. The authors of a paper are individuals who have made an important contribution to planning and carrying out the research reported, and anyone listed as an author should also have helped in the preparation of the paper. The authors are listed in the logical order of importance of their contribution to the work. The person listed first is considered the senior author. Others may be listed according to the importance of contribution to the effort. Author names should be complete enough to ensure proper identification and be followed by an address including email presented according to the journal's style. Keywords are words by which the paper should be indexed by abstracting services. Words that appear on the title should not be repeated as keywords because titles and keywords are listed together by abstracting services. Most journals allow not more than 6 keywords. Some journals do not allow any keywords, and some journals allow a string of several words as keywords. In any case, the keywords should be specific to the article. Common words such as plants, soils, models are too general to be of any value as keywords. An abstract is a self-contained mini version of the paper. It states methods, main results, and conclusions. It uses past tense for methods and results, present tense for conclusions. Avoid abbreviations, references, and verbose sentences. A good introduction is relatively short. It tells why the reader should find the paper interesting, explains why the author carried out the research, and gives the background the reader needs to understand and judge the paper. The introduction should be relatively brief. Most journals recommend less than 500 words. Avoid repetition. Do not repeat the abstract in the introduction. Do not go into an extensive literature review. 2 to 4 most relevant and recent citations should be adequate to corroborate a statement. Do not repeat well-known facts, nor state the obvious. Different journals follow different norms and styles. Some want discussion of literature in the introduction, while some want it in the discussion section. Some journals require a brief account of the materials and methods to be included in the introduction section, and some may want even the important conclusions presented in the introduction section, although that tendency is now disappearing. The purpose of the Materials and Methods section is to present in a simple and direct manner what has been done, how and when, and how the data were analyzed and presented. This section should include the following in the next order. The first one is description of the study. The next one, materials used with exact technical specifications and quantities and their source or method of preparation. And the third one is statistical and mathematical procedures used to analyze and summarize the data. The results section presents the new knowledge, therefore it is the core of the paper. Note that the introduction and materials and methods sections are needed and designed to say why and how the author or authors arrived at what is presented in this section, the meaning of which will then be explained in the discussion section. Thus, the value of the paper depends on what is contained in the results section, and it must be presented in an absolutely clear manner in just the right number of words, neither more nor less. It is usually easiest to follow the results if they are presented in the same order as the objectives are presented in the introduction. The results should be presented simply, data should be reduced, summarize only large data sets statistically, and avoid repetitive data. Visuals should be used, such as tables that show accurate numbers, figures, show trends, and the results section also should include negatives. Report what was not found if useful for interpretation. The discussion section is the section where the authors explain meanings and implications of the results. The section pulls everything together and shows the importance and value of the work, and is therefore the most innovative and difficult part of the paper to write. A good discussion should not repeat what has already been said in the review of literature, relate the results to the questions that were set out in the introduction, show how the results and interpretations agree or do not agree with current knowledge on the subject, that is previously published work, explain the theoretical background of the observed results, indicate the significance of the result, suggest future research that is planned or needed to follow up, deal with only the results reported in the study, stay away from generalizations and that are not substantiated by the results presented, state conclusions with evidence for each. Conclusions should state well-articulated outcomes and suggest future research directions. Avoid vague statements like more research is needed. Preparing a proper reference list is one of the most tedious aspects of finalizing a manuscript for publication. Part of the problem is that there is no standard or uniform format for citing literature, except that all citations in the text and only those must be listed in the references. In other words, the references section and text citations should match perfectly. Any additional information that is relevant to the paper but is of secondary importance may be added as appendix subject to the journal's policy.